शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मायां ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणनाथापितं सजीवं साद्वैतं स्वावधूतं परिजनासाहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपीशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकर्णकरुण्यस्य कृपासिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हरे।
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Josh.
So I'll read the Sanskrit and the verse, then you can read the purport, yeah? Devi hi esa guna mai mammaya dhruratya mama eva ye prapadyante maya etam tarantite. Translation by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Mataji, you can read the purport.
Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has innumerable energies, and all these energies are divine. Although the living entities are part of his energies and are therefore divine, due to the contact with material energy, their original superior power is covered. Being thus covered by the material energy, one cannot possibly overcome its influence. As previously stated, both the material and spiritual natures, being emanations from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are eternal. The living entities belong to the eternal superior nature of the Lord, but due to the contamination by the inferior nature, matter, this illusion is also eternal. The conditioned soul is therefore called Nityabadha or eternally conditioned. No one can trace out the history of his becoming conditioned as a certain date in material history. Consequently, his release from the clutches of material nature is very difficult, even though that material nature is an inferior energy. because material energy is ultimately conducted by the supreme will, which the living entity cannot overcome. Inferior material nature is defined herein as divine nature due to its divine connections and movement by divine will. Being conducted by divine will, material nature, although inferior, acts so wonderfully in the construction and destruction of the cosmic manifestation. The Vedas confirm this as follows: Mayam tu prakritim vidwan mayinam tu maheshwaram. Although Maya, illusion, is false or temporary, the background of Maya is supreme magician, the personality of Godhead, who is Maheshwara, the supreme controller. Shvetashwara Upanishad 4.10. Another meaning of the guna is rope. It is understood that the conditioned soul is tightly tied by the ropes of illusion. A man bound by the hands and feet cannot free himself. He must be helped by a person who is unbound. Because the bound cannot help the bound, the rescuer should be liberated, must be liberated. Therefore, only Lord Krishna or his bona fide representative, the spiritual master, can release the conditioned soul. Without such superior help, one cannot be freed from the bondage of material nature. Devotional service or Krishna consciousness can help one gain such release. Krishna, being the Lord of the illusionary energy, can order this unsurmountable energy to release the conditioned soul. He orders this release out of his causeless mercy on the surrendered soul and out of his paternal affection for the living entity who is originally a beloved son of the Lord. Therefore, surrender onto the lotus feet of the Lord is the only means to get free from the clutches of the stringent material nature. The words Mam Eva are also significant. Mam means onto Krishna, Vishnu only, and not Brahma or Shiva. Although Brahma and Shiva are greatly elevated and are almost on the level of Vishnu, it is not possible for such incarnations of Rajaguna, passion, and Tamoguna, ignorance, to release the conditioned soul from the clutches of Maya. In other words, both Brahma and Shiva are under the influence of Maya. Only Vishnu is the master of Maya. Therefore, he alone can give release to the conditioned soul. The Vedas, Shvetashvatara Upanishada 3.8, confirm this in the phrase Tam eva viditva, where freedom is possible only by the understanding of Krishna. Even Lord Shiva affirms that liberation can be achieved only by the mercy of Vishnu. Lord Shiva says, Mukti Pradata Sarvesham Vishnu Evana Samshaya. There is no doubt that Vishnu is the deliverer of the liberation for everyone. Hare Krishna.
Krishna, thank you very much, Mataji. Okay, so it's a very popular verse. If you are a regular listener of Srila Prabhupada's lectures, this verse is quoted many, many times. Even the Sanskrit is very famous. Devihi sagunamai mammaya dhratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante maya etam tarantite. The translation is this divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So we should know that this Maya is a divine energy, it's not an ordinary energy. and it is working under the direction of Krishna or under the will of Krishna. And she puts you into illusion. In fact, everyone, it is said from the greatest demigod like Brahma, Shiva, down to the smallest living entity, can be put into illusion by Krishna. And she works the way Krishna wants her to work. So Sri Prabhupada is explaining. Now, before we go into this verse, I'll give you one incident. In fact, two incidents. There's one incident in which Sri Prabhupada was, after the lecture, Prabhupada used to have a habit. If he was in a temple, he would fold his hands and stand in front of the deities. I don't know if you can see the picture behind me. That picture is very famous. That picture with folded hands. So one young devotee asked Sri Prabhupada, you are so pure. Why do you come and pray to Krishna? And what do you pray? Sri Prabhupada says, gave the answer after a little pause, that I pray to Krishna that don't put me into Maya. Imagine Prabhupada is asking this, don't put me into Maya, or don't allow illusory energy to cover me. So you find that even Sri Prabhupada himself is saying we should be alert of Maya. Or in other words, our devotional service should be so nice that the illusory energy does not take over us. Another example, same in Sri Prabhupada's lives. Sri Prabhupada was in America after ISKCON was doing very well. And one day he was surrounded by so many devotees. So the devotees, Sri Prabhupada was discussing many things about Krishna consciousness. And Sri Prabhupada remarked one thing, that you American boys and girls are very good and they are doing very well, but there is one defect in you. And the boys and the girls said, Sri Prabhupada, what is the defect in us? He says, you people are not afraid of Maya. You should be afraid of Maya. In other words, he's warning all of us that we should be scared of Maya. We can at once be slipped into Maya. So we'll discuss these points in the purport before we go further. Sri Prabhupada explains that Lord has many energies, so many energies. Material energy, superior energy. We are in the Tataksha, marginal energy. Besides that, there are many energies. Energies for creation, energies for destruction, energies to put you into illusion. And that is this verse is talking about. So, and all these energies are divine. So if you study this verse very nicely, it says, this divine energy consisting of the three modes of nature. You find that it is made of the three modes. And mode, if you translate into Sanskrit, is called guna. And guna, another meaning of guna is roops. There's a popular picture in our Bhagavad Gita in which you find three ladies with a string pulling two people. Yeah, so that is called three gunas. Our mood is constantly changing because we are in Maya. That is the proof. So we should remember that we are tossed by Maya from here to there. Why? Only due to one reason. The answer is already in the verse. It says, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. If you are surrendered to Krishna, Maya cannot do anything to you. But it shows that we are not fully surrendered, or we are waiting to surrender, or those who are in the surrendering process, they are still not fully surrendered. Then the Maya gives you trouble. And Maya gives trouble to everyone. Maya is like, we can say, policemen. How policemen work? They work for the government. And if you break the law, then they put you in the similar way. Maya also captures you the moment you try to defy Krishna. And another angle of Maya is, more you come closer to Krishna, the more the Maya becomes powerful. So you have to actually fight with the Maya. Sri Prabhupada says anyone who cannot fight with Maya or the illusory energy cannot become a devotee. So it's a constant fight or a constant struggle to come out of the Maya. And that is the life of a devotee. He should not be cheated by the illusory energy. So though our spirit soul or we by nature are divine, but because we have this material body and we are in this material world, due to material energy, we become covered. And the influence is so strong that we work under that Maya rather than working for Krishna. Or in other words, we don't like working for Krishna. We become captured by Maya. And this conditioning of our soul is nothing new. Sri Prabhupada explains in the purport that we have been conditioned since time immemorial. You see the word Nitya Bada in the purport. Nitya Bada. Bada means bound. There are two types of living entities, Nitya Bada, Nitya Mukta. Sri Prabhupada was not a Nitya Bada like us. He was not a Nitya Bada like us, he was a Nitya Mukta, which was proved for those who lived with him. It was proven that he was not captivated by Maya. But in order to teach us, he is telling in many lectures that do not become cheated by Maya. For example, the Maya early in the morning tells you, sleep a little more. And that 5 minutes becomes maybe half an hour or 1 hour. This is how Maya acts. Sometimes there are eatables which are forbidden. And the Maya says, oh, just taste it, nothing wrong. Try it. Or when a man sees a beautiful woman, he gets cheated. When a when a woman sees a handsome man, she gets cheated. Either way. Or if someone tells you nice, sweet words, we become very puffed up and we can go into illusion. And this is how con men work. Con men, they try to use illusion on you, and this is how they con you. Speaking nice, sweet words, nice way of dealing with you, and you become cheated. So what we have to do is, we have to be very careful that you don't become cheated by Maya. Now, who is behind Maya is Krishna. Krishna in this context is written Maheshwaram. He's the one controlling the Maya. So we should not, I mean, we should know that Maya is not dangerous. Maya is there for us to keep us in control. And the moment we surrender to Krishna, then Maya will not control us. She'll let you work for Krishna and dedicate your life to Krishna. This is how Maya works. So, as we heard earlier, that guna, the word guna, Guna, means ropes. If someone ties you with ropes, both your hands and legs, everyone in the room is tied up. No one can help each other. When one person is open, he can help others to open others. Now, amongst the whole creation, only one person is unbound, and that is Krishna. He can help us come out of this illusion or come out of this bondage, which is made up of three kinds of ropes. So only Krishna is unbound and he can free us, or a representative of Krishna. For example, like the spiritual master, like Sri Prabhupada himself or his representative, or all of our acharyas, they can help us, free us from this Maya. So that is why we have to chant daily and we have to read daily, read or hear daily, so that we do not become conditioned by the Maya. Reading Bhagavatam daily, hearing Bhagavatam daily, reading Bhagavad Gita daily gives us, keeps us on a track and protects us from getting cheated by Maya. So this is the way we have to fight back. So in other words, we have to practice Krishna consciousness. I don't know, you may have heard the story Sri Prabhupada gives. Sri Prabhupada gives a story. I think I gave last time, I can't remember whether I gave to the elderate class, that there were three boys who went to visit a neighboring country, a neighboring, what do you call it? I don't know, Mataji, did you have this story last time? Kirtika Mataji?
Prabhuji, I don't think so. About the
Okay. Three boys, one was a prince, one was the son of a minister, one was the son of a treasurer. They were visiting a neighboring kingdom. It's a bit old story. So now when they were visiting the kingdom, they fell in love with three girls. The prince fell in love with the princess, and the treasurer's son, sorry, minister's son, or the prime minister's son, he fell in love with prime minister's daughter. And the treasurer's son fell in love with the treasurer's daughter. In this way, there was a love affair between each three of them, and they decided to get married. So all of them got married in the Gandharva style. Gandharva means it's a very simple marriage. You go to the temple and you tell the priest to get you married. And the priest will offer you garland. You put garland on each other. You speak some mantras, and it's more or less like a love marriage. In this way, the marriage was done. Now, while the marriage was being done, the father of these three girls, I mean, the king was not present. And when king came after a month or two, he saw his daughter looking different. So he asked his daughter, how come you are looking so different? Because in the Vedic culture, when a girl gets married, she dresses in a different way. On her forehead, she puts a bindi. There's a red dot, which shows she's a married girl. And then she puts what do you call sindoor in the division of the hair in between sibat, and she was wearing bangles. So the daughter told the truth that I got married. So the king asked, whom did you get married to? He says, I married someone of my class. He said, who was it? He says, he's a prince. I am a princess, so I married a prince. And also my friends got married. And she told the whole story. So the king called all the three husbands and all the three girls. He says, to get married is nothing wrong, but you should have waited for me. You should have waited a month. I could have come and have your marriage done properly. Now, because you did it without my permission, I'm going to put your husbands in jail. And all the three were put in the jail. The prince, the minister's son, and the treasurer's son. All were put into three different cells, though the jail was only the same. Now the prince was tied up with a chain made of gold. And what do you call? The minister's son was tied with a chain of silver. And the treasurer's son was tied with a chain of iron. Now, if I were to ask, of these three, who is best situated? Can anyone answer this question? Who is best situated? You can raise your hand so Mataji can connect you. Yes, Mataji.
no one, because they are all tied up.
Yes, all of them are bound. Though it is a golden chain, you're still bound up. You're not free. You're still in the jail. So this story, Sri Prabhupada explains that we are in the similar situation. We are sometimes in the mode of goodness. We are bound with golden chain. Mode of passion, silver chain. Mode of ignorance, iron chain. So none of us can say we are free. And this is how the supreme magician Krishna is working. And we all get bound by different chains. So this story illustrates how different people are bound in a different way. Even in our society, the Brahmins are said to be tied up by the guna or the rope of goodness, and the Kshatriyas are bound with the mode of passion. The Vaishyas are bound with the ropes of passion and ignorance, and those who are in the mode of ignorance are bound with the mode of ignorance. So none of them is free. Even a Brahmin is not free. But a devotee of Krishna is free, is beyond these four varnas, or is even beyond a Brahmin. That he becomes free because what does he do? He ties his heart to the feet of Krishna. This is how one can become free. There's no other way one can become free. That's why this verse says, those who are surrendered unto me can cross easily beyond it. Furthermore, Sri Prabhupada says, Krishna is responsible for putting you into Maya, and Krishna is responsible for removing you from Maya. So it is the grace of Krishna if there is no Maya in us. So we have to seek for that grace every day, practically every minute or every moment, that we do not get captured by Maya. It's very easy. For example, especially those who become sadhus or devotees, you find them, it's very easy to join the temple or to become a sadhu. But it is most easy, it's very difficult to join the temple to become a devotee, but it is very easy to run away. And you can easily be captured by Maya. And you may think, oh, this is all drama. The deity is a drama, chanting Hare Krishna, worshipping, waking up early, all this is illusion, not knowing that you are in illusion. So this is the way the Maya works. Now, when Krishna is help, Krishna has grace upon us, he tries to free us because we are all his children. Prabhupada mentioned the purport. Out of parental affection, a father can free his son. So if Krishna has mercy on us, he can free us. So the main thing is where to remain surrendered at the lotus feet of Krishna in order to become free from the stringent laws of material nature, which is called Maya. And Lord Shiva is mentioned here. He says, Mukti pradata sarvesham Vishnu. Eva na samshaya. The meaning is, only person who can free you from Maya is Vishnu or Krishna. Not even Shiva, not even Brahma. Many people may not like this because Shiva and Brahma both are called Maheshwara, or sometimes even called Mahadevs, or the greatest of the demigods. But even Brahma and Shiva can get cheated. I'll give you example of both of them. Brahma got cheated by Krishna, in which when Krishna was only 5 years old, or even less than that, Krishna, you know that when he started going to take the cows to the forest for grazing, Mother Yashoda would give him prasad, and even other boys would come with prasad. At the lunchtime, they will share their food like a picnic, and they were enjoying the picnic. And Brahma was looking from up, and he saw Krishna enjoying picnic. Now, what was Krishna actually doing? Let me give you the exact incident. Krishna would come with very nice food, and most of the boys were not very rich. They would come with simple food. So Krishna would share the food, the nice food to others, and he would take food from others. Now, one day it so happened that one sweet which Krishna wanted to eat, one of the boys put it in the mouth. And Krishna put his hand into the mouth of that boy and removed a half of it and he ate it. So when Brahma saw this, he said, how can he be the Supreme Personality of Godhead? He is eating what is considered unclean, because when you eat food from somebody's mouth, it's not clean. It's considered contaminating. So how can he be supreme? In this way, Brahma got illusion. So what did he do? He stole the cows and the calves, and also later on the boys, all the coward boys. So Krishna said that a moment ago, everyone was here. Where have they gone? So Krishna went to look everywhere. He couldn't find them. And Krishna could realize that this is all the work done by Brahma. So Krishna, from his own body, he created so many boys, so many cows, so many calves, identical to the one missing. And the scene appeared as if nothing has happened. And in the evening, they all returned home. And even the mothers could not recognize that these are not my children. Rather, the affection was more. And everyone was wondering what is happening. Even the calves were running to their mothers with a lot of love. None of them knew that these are all the expansions of Krishna. Krishna became into boys, coward boys, calves, and nobody could recognize. Now, this is not for one day. This for one entire year. And the only person who knew this is what is going on is Garga Muni. Garga Muni is the person who is the priest who named Krishna and Balaram. So he knew that it is his work. These are not, we can say these are all aliens who have come here, which nobody could recognize. So indirectly, Garga Muni was telling all the ladies, if you want to get your daughters married, get them married in this year. Because then they'll marry people of Vaikuntha. They'll be very fortunate. But nobody could understand this message. Anyway, when the year was over, for Brahma it's a matter of a few seconds, but for our calendar is 1 year. Brahma was shocked to see that I took everyone. What has happened now? And then he could realize that he was in illusion. And when the illusion came out, he fell down at the feet of Krishna and he started offering prayers. He's telling Krishna that you are the Supreme Lord Narayan, original Narayan, please forgive me. And Krishna is very tricky. He tells him, no, I am not Narayan. I am only the son of Nanda Maharaj. I'm just a small boy. In this way, you can read this incident in the Krishna book. Very beautiful. This is how Brahma got illusion. Now, talking of Shiva, Shiva is not a person who can be put into illusion. But one day he wanted to be put into illusion. How? You'll find that if you go to the 8th canto, there's a churning of the ocean, milk ocean, not our ocean. Our ocean is salt inside. There's another planet where there is ocean of milk. So when it was churned for the nectar to come out, and as the churning went on later on, a lot of poison came out, impurities came out. And the person who can drink this is only Lord Shiva. So Lord Vishnu told Lord Shiva, okay, is it okay? All right, you can hear me? All
Yes, we
right.
can.
Okay, we carry on. Okay, so Lord Shiva drank the whole ocean of poison. And by Lord Vishnu's mercy, the poison could not enter him. It stayed on the neck here. That's why if you see the neck of Lord Shiva is blue. It's called Nilkant. With the poison just stayed here. It could not enter. It's a blessing of Krishna. And this is how Lord Shiva got the new name. Anyway, Lord Shiva was then, after that, the Amrit or the nectar came out of the ocean. And the demons were actually working. The demons were working, or the Asuras, or the demons were working, and the demigods were working. Both were working equally. But when the Amrit came out, they took it by force. And the demigods could understand that now they're helpless. So they prayed to Krishna. What did Krishna do? He appeared there like a very beautiful woman. Imagine Krishna is as it is beautiful. And if he wears a sari, he will become more beautiful. So he came wearing a lady's clothes. And nobody could recognize. And the way she was walking, that means way Krishna was walking in a very rhythmic way. And lot of jewelry and beautiful sari. So the demons, the demigods could understand this is Vishnu. But the demons could not understand. And then what the demons did, they came close and told the lady, who are you? And why have you come here? And Krishna, imagine, as she's called Mohini. Mohini is telling them that, don't you know, in the scriptures say they don't trust women or politicians. Why are you trusting me? He says, do like this, take this nectar and divide the nectar to whomever you want. Because they were cheated by the illusory energy of Krishna by seeing the beauty of the woman. And Mohini or Krishna distributed all the nectar to the demigods. Of course, one of them tried to cheat, is called Rahu. At that time, Mohini released the chakra because she is Krishna, the wheel, and cut off the head of Rahu. Anyway, the whole story is that The demigods saw this beautiful Mohini. At that time, Shiva was very busy drinking the poison. Now, when the whole incident was over, Lord Shiva was told by the demigods, you should have seen Vishnu or Krishna. Looks so beautiful. You missed him. And we have never seen a beautiful woman like this. So Lord Shiva went to Lord Vishnu and said, I want to see that form. Vishnu says, it's not for you. He says, but I want to see you. He said, and Lord Krishna is telling him, it's not meant for you. It was only meant to breathe, to take the nectar and give it to the demigods. It was just for a short time. But Lord Shiva insisted. In other words, he insisted to be seen by Maya. So what happened? Within seconds, the whole atmosphere changed. The whole environment changed. And Lord Shiva was with Parvati. Parvati is the wife of Lord Shiva, most chaste and most beautiful. Imagine he has the most beautiful wife, and they were walking in a forest. And in a distance, they saw a young girl, around 16-year-old, wearing a yellow sari, playing with a ball, like a tennis ball. And she was throwing the ball, bouncing the ball, and when the ball will roll, she would pick the ball, again capture it. And a lot of wind came, and her body was seen by Lord Shiva. And Shiva got attracted to that girl. He left Parvati and he ran for the girl. And the girl ran at a fast speed, taking him very far. And the moment he touched her, the illusion was over. He realized it's not a woman. It's not a woman. This is not Vishnu or Krishna. So Krishna said, actually, you would have not been into Maya. You wanted to go into Maya. This is my Maya. So these two incidents we should remember. That even big demigods like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, were captured by Maya. And also Narad was captured by Maya only once. One day, there was in a certain city, there was a talk between Krishna and Narada. And Narad said that there is a swayamvar. Swayamvar means a contest where a princess is getting married. And whomever the garland is put by the princess, that will be the fortunate man. So Narad said, I want to get married. And Lord Krishna wanted him not to get married. So Narad said, he didn't tell him not to get married. But anyway, he says, so what do you want me to do? He said, okay, you can borrow me your face because you have a very nice face. If my face is on me, your face is on me, I'm sure she's going to put a garland on me. So Lord Vishnu said, okay. So he went and sat among all the princes. And he was assuming that he's the most nice looking. Of course, he's the most nice looking. So this lady came looking after one to another one with a garland in the hand. And she even passed this Narad who had a face of Vishnu. And in that assembly, there was also Lord Vishnu. So she went to put the garland on Vishnu. And Narad was shocked. Well, how come she put the garland on him? And then others were like bit chuckling, happy on it, making joke out of him. So he said, why are you laughing on me? He said, look at your face. Nobody will marry you. He said, what's wrong with my face? I have the most beautiful face. He said, no, go and look in the mirror. And when he looked in the mirror, he saw that actually his face was that of a monkey. Well, Lord Vishnu had tricked him. And he became very angry. And he told Vishnu, I curse you. One day you'll need the help of the monkeys to rescue your wife. And that is what happened in Ramayana. He had to take the help of so many monkeys to go search for Sita. So anyway, we should remember these three examples of Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, or even Narada. Now, one thing is the meaning of the word Maya is explained earlier in another purport, I can't remember. Maya means this, not this. Ma means not this, means not this. It is not real, but it seems to be real. Sri Prabhupada says it works so wonderfully that it looks real. And this is how we got cheated. And the clue is, if you want to come out of it, then we have to take full shelter of Krishna. There's no way you can escape from Maya, not possible. If you take full shelter of Krishna, and if Krishna has grace upon you, then he can release you from Maya, not otherwise. So it becomes our duty daily that if you go to temple or even at home in front of the picture of Krishna, we should, with folded hands, we should pray to Krishna that please engage me in your devotional service. And that is also the same meaning of Hare Krishna mantra. The meaning is the same. Please engage me in your devotional service. That's why we take the shelter of Radharani and we don't take shelter of Maya. That's why the Maha mantra begins by the word Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we don't become cheated by Maya, but we remain engaged in devotion. And this is our constant prayer. It's not that we should stop. Even when we become a very elevated devotee, we should still not stop chanting. This helps us stay away from Maya. Otherwise, our mind itself creates a lot of illusions, and these are different forms, different shapes of Maya, and it can easily capture you. So this is the meaning of this verse. Devi esa gunamai mam maya dvatya mameva prapadyante maya etam tarantite. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered it to me can easily overcome it. Okay, time is already 45 minutes. I'm stopping here. If you have any more, anything to add or any questions or any comments, please go. Go for.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
It's something like depression. Maya, is that acting up, or is that due to karma or other factors?
No, depression is not by Maya. Depression is a weakness of Maya. If you go to, I think it's verse number 7 in the second chapter. Let me give you the exact verse. I have the Bhagavad Gita in my hand. 2:2. It says Kutashtva. Start with the word Kutasht. Yeah, it's 2:2. Krishna tells Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets but to infamy. So when our heart is weak, it's called Hirdaya Dolyam. Klebyam Sma Gama. This is verse number 3. Just go to verse number 3 if you have Bhagavad Gita in your hand. The meaning is, O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading importance. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy. So if you see anyone suffering from depression, it's the weakness of heart. It's not Maya. Don't take it as Maya.
And,
Maya,
and how do you
Maya may be playing a little role, but the weakness is ours. You're
and
saying
how do
something.
you overcome? How do
Well,
you
we have
overcome?
to.
Because we always endeavor.
Okay. Now you should know that Krishna consciousness is a whole joyful process. So when you execute Krishna consciousness, be it hearing, chanting, remembering anything, you should do it joyfully. In the 9th chapter, it says, Sushukam kartum avyayam, joyfully perform. So if you think you're in depression, take up some service. Don't sit down. Don't worry. Don't allow your mind to freeze. Because if you allow your mind to become depressed, or what you call weakened, then the mind will take over you. In devotional service, don't do that. We have to try to fight with the mind or neglect the mind. One who is expert at neglecting the mind will never go into depression. Is it okay? I think somebody is raising a hand also. Yes, Prabhu?
ISKCON Eldoret, kindly unmute yourself, kindly, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
My question is,
Hmm.
I was asking,
Yes, Prabhu.
That how can one realize himself that he is in the mood of ignorance, passion, and goodness?
We are always in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. And that is the meaning of Maya. When our mood is not changing, you'll find our mood is constantly changing, practically every moment of our life. It means we are in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. You can read this full detail if you go to the 14th chapter. All the symptoms are written to explain to you whether you are in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance. So as far as we do not surrender to Krishna, we are always cheated by these three modes. For example, if you can you see my face in your screen?
Yeah.
Now, for example, if I tie my neck here with one rope and one person is pulling me, another one is pulling me on one side, third one is pulling me from behind, how can I be free? I'm bounded in three directions. And we all get bounded by three directions. Sometimes the mode of goodness is pulling, sometimes the passion is pulling, sometimes the ignorance is pulling. So we are always in different moods. If you want to come out of stop this pulling, then we have to discipline our senses and mind, put them at the feet of Krishna. Then the ropes will not pull you. For example, Sri Prabhupada gives a very common example. Early morning, when we want to go to Mangalarti, the body says rest. We say, but you should be like in a discipline, like in a military. You should come out of your bed, quickly take a bath, brush your teeth, quickly take a bath, put on your clothes, put on tilak, go straight to Bhagavat. So it needs a training. And besides that, even we are having a japamala. You see, for example, I have a japamala in my hand. I may be putting my hand inside, but I'm not chanting. Or maybe my fingers are holding the japamala, but I'm not chanting. It means the Maya is so strong that it brings 1,000 pictures in front of you. And instead of thinking of Krishna or hearing the holy name or chanting the holy name, we try to go into all those pictures because the mind can create 8.4 million pictures. It has that capacity. Remember that. It's not a small number. So we should not be cheated by pictures, thoughts, sounds, touch. All these are different examples, even smell. There are 5 kinds of Vishay. Vishay means 5 ways the mind can be captivated. By a picture, by sound, by smell, by touch, by taste. Is it okay?
And then my question is,
Hmm.
another question is, I was asking that how can one realize himself that is in transcendental platform?
No, I can't hear your voice.
I say,
Ah,
I'm saying that
ah.
how can one realize himself that he is in transcendental platform?
Or is it transparent? Okay, you read chapter 2, verse number 55, 56, 57. You get the answer.
Yeah.
It means you are in divine consciousness.
Yeah.
Krishna, there are 3 verses which explain to you, which prove that you are in a divine consciousness. Because the answer is, you will not misuse your tongue, number 1. You use all your senses in Krishna. You will not be affected by the dualities of the world. And you are fully surrendered to Krishna. It means you are in a divine platform. Is it okay?
Yeah, okay.
But for your information, read those 3 verses.
Yeah.
55, 56, 57.
Yeah.
Chapter 2. All right?
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Okay. So going back to Silpesh Prabhu's question, we should not remain depressed. There is a story, not a story, an incident given of Narad Muni. He was visiting a certain kingdom and he saw the king. The king put his hand like this and like he was very depressed. So Narad Muni said, "What is wrong?" He said, "I'm not happy at all." He said, "Why?" He said, "I'm feeling depressed." And then you should hear the words of Narad. He said that you are not fit to be a king. You are fit to be a laborer. So come down off the throne. A king is never meant to be depressed. A king is supposed to be full of force. Because if king is not full of force and happy, whole of the country or all the subjects will be unhappy. So the duty of a king is to be remaining. If he cannot remain cheerful, at least he should remain full forced with a lot of discipline. This is the behavior of a king. So these words of Narada has a lot of wisdom. So same principle is applicable to us. If you think our mind is getting depressed, open a Bhagavad Gita. Any page, I can give you a guarantee. I am holding a Gita like this. I'll open any page. You'll find that page as the answer for you. Read it. This Bhagavad Gita is not an ordinary book. It's a mystic book. Ask any devotee, not only me, ask any devotee, experienced devotee. He'll give you the same answer. That what I am thinking about is here. And it happens like that. Okay, I think someone called DV. Who is DV? Is put his hand up.
Divyesh Prabhuji.
Divyesh. Okay, Divyesh, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, how are you?
Fine, thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. My question is, so our goal should not be to be in any of these modes of goodness, ignorance, or passion, is it? Is that then, because I thought our goal should be to be in goodness, then you progress, or what is the actually? So actually,
No.
any of these three modes is not meant for us.
See, when we come to the material world, we are already in three modes. And one who is free from three modes is only Krishna or his representative. Nobody else can become out of three modes. But mode of goodness is better than passion or ignorance. If you read the 14th chapter, it says, better than the mode of ignorance is passion. Better than the mode of passion is mode of goodness. So minimum, we should be in the mode of goodness. That's why Sri Prabhupada says, becoming a devotee, or before becoming a devotee, first become a Brahmin. Become situated in the mode of goodness. Brahmin means one who is in goodness. Then you can at least learn the knowledge. Because in the mode of passion or ignorance, you can't even learn a scripture. To learn a scripture, you have to be in the mode of goodness, minimum. And then you have to overcome the mode of goodness. And that mode is called Vasudev Tattva. Again, the name of Krishna is there. Or in Sanskrit, it's called Shuddha Sattva, purified goodness. At that time, you can engage in devotional service of Krishna. Is that okay, Divyesh Prabhu?
Oh, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So,
Okay, so
what
minimum,
you're saying in short, what you're saying in short is, up to the time we die, we'll still be in any of these modes. There's no escaping.
yes. If we have not surrendered to Krishna, we will have to take birth in any of those modes. And that different body.
Not surrendered meaning unconditional surrender.
Yes. Have you read the Sikshastaka? I mean, do you read Sikshastaka daily?
Yes. Not daily, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Do you remember the last prayer? Last prayer? Ashrishya vapat pinashtamam adarshanam parmahatam karotuva yatha tatava vidadato lampato mat prananathastu eva napara. This verse is spoken by Radharani. If you study this verse, it says, Krishna, you are my Lord unconditionally. Whether you hug me out of love, or you reject me, or you even trample me under your feet, I am your servitor unconditionally. Now that is the highest realization or the highest platform of surrender, which is not easy to come to that point. Very difficult. So in other words, we have to ask for the shelter of Radharani in order to come to that platform. And in order to do that, we have to give up all the kind of enviousness in our heart. Very difficult to find envy-free person in this material world. Very difficult. But Radharani is without any envy, and she can give you that mercy. That's why our Maha Mantra begins by her name, Hare. Hare means Radhe.
So basically, if it's so difficult, all these things, and you're saying it's very rare to have somebody who is without envy, then
yes,
what percentage of people then actually do get to the final destination in this birth?
very few.
It's true,
Very
yeah.
few. Very few. Because as you read this chapter further, in fact, after 5 verses, you can read that verse. It says, Bahunam Janmanamante Gyani. That's a popular verse. After many, many births, one will realize that Krishna is cause of all causes. Then such a person is very rare. Very rare to find a pure devotee of Krishna. Not easy. We all claim that we are devotees of Krishna, but we are actually trying to become pure practitioner. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean that you give up all the hope. Yeah, you have to keep trying and trying and trying. Lot of association with many, many devotees, lot of services to Krishna, purifying yourself all the time, and remembering that you are not all pure. This will keep a room for you to become purified.
So the journey is still very, very long.
Yes, it is long. Long for
And
all of us, and it can be very short for few of us. Those who are fully surrendered, for them the journey is very short.
thank you, Hare Krishna, bro.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I think Pramila Mataji has a question. Pramila Mataji,
Yes.
kindly.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, very nice discourse. Prabhuji, you said that Srila Prabhupada, excuse me, when he had his hands folded and his request was to be kept out of Maya's way.
Yes.
So Prabhuji, is it acceptable? I was told that we must not ask for anything, but is it acceptable to ask for something spiritual, like if you want to, some guidance, some help, sort of thing? Can we ask Krishna for that or not?
Yeah, why not? That is called desirelessness, in which when all your desires are spiritual, that means you are desireless. For example, if you go to tell Krishna or ask Krishna, give me more service, there is nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You keep asking for more service. You tell Krishna, please help me that I don't become captured by Maya. Please help me that I can chant more rounds. Please help me, I can understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Please help me get a good association of good devotees. Please help me. There's nothing wrong in asking. In fact, this begging can help you progress in Krishna consciousness very fast.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm glad to hear that.
You should read this verse number 71, chapter 2.
Okay.
Chapter 2, go to the verse number 72, in which 4 things are there: to become free from sense gratification, to become free from material desires, to give up the proprietorship, and to give up your false ego. These 4 things will make you a peaceful person, and you can serve Krishna 24 hours a day.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Prabhuji, we discussed about desires and it is really bad. But what if a person is very rich? He buys big house, big cars, expensive furniture, clothes. Is it all right?
Nothing wrong, but if he has like a big house, lot of furniture, lot of wealth, use it in the service of Krishna. That will keep his house, his wealth very pure. Otherwise, that house can create Maya, illusion.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that big house should have a big Krishna altar as well.
Yes, you should have a big temple. And if you have a big house, make it into a temple. Let devotees come and perform Sankirtan daily. Your house will become like the house of Srivas Thakur. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to do Kirtan at his house every day. That is Srivas Thakur. We can read in Chaitanya Charitamrita. That is called a glorious house. Not like our house. At night we are in the bed sleeping. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not sleep the whole night. The Kirtan will start 8 o'clock at night. 6 o'clock they'll finish in the morning. 6 to 7 they'll go for Harinam in the street of Nadia. That is when he used to do Kirtan at the house of Srivas Thakur. Srivas is not an ordinary person. Srivas Thakur is Narad Muni himself. Hare Krishna. All right.
Correct.
Anybody else? Nice question.
Hare Krishna, is there any other question? I know we have exhausted our time, but if there is any burning question. Okay, I guess there is no burning question. I'll hand over to Path Prabhuji. Path Prabhuji is not there. Okay, I can, let's all unmute ourselves and chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to glorify Prabhuji. Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Shri Prabhupada.
Vancha,
Ki Jai. Shri Rukma Das Prabhuji Ki Jai.
Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.